Next, we are going to discuss Ansible facts. This concept of facts is prevalent in almost all configuration management tools like Ansible or Puppet. Although in the context of other tools, the actual name of this concept could be different. For instance, when we use Puppet, this concept is called Puppet factor, but the underlying functionality is pretty similar to Ansible facts. So what is an Ansible fact? Well, a fact is a detail or piece of information collected from a remote host. Facts are information derived from talking with your remote systems. These facts can be used for our playbook for various purposes. For instance, we can use these factors for grouping nodes by the type of OS they are running, or filtering nodes based on the amount of RAM they have, and so on. Ansible gathers context before running tasks. This context is part of the facts collected by Ansible. Ansible uses facts, which is mainly system and environment information. Ansible uses these facts to check the state and verify whether it needs to change anything in order to get the desired outcome. Thus, this mechanism makes it safe to run Ansible tasks against a server over and over again. Let's take an example to explain these concepts further. Suppose we have a big data center with 1,000 nodes deployed in it, wherein each node belongs to a certain category or has a particular operating system installed. Ansible facts will basically provide a whole bunch of details about any particular host. They provide details like IP address of the system or even each individual network interface installed in the system, the OS details, the kernel details, or the hardware details, etc. The facts will basically provide all the basic system information which we can use in our playbook to perform operations against it. For example, if we need to collect details of all Eth1 IP addresses in a particular group of hosts, and in the Ansible inventory file we only have Eth0 IP addresses available. In this case, the collection of facts will retrieve all the Ethernet adapters installed in the nodes along with their IP address. Once these facts are collected, we can access them and use them in our Ansible playbooks. So now a question arises. What information can Ansible facts collect, and how does Ansible obtain it? The answer is the Setup module. Ansible provides a module called Setup which can be used to collect Ansible facts. Usually these facts are discovered automatically by the Setup module in Ansible. But like anything else in Ansible, users are free to write their own custom fact modules. Let's take a look at an example. Ansible all -m setup. This command will get all the facts from all the nodes in the inventory. And as you can imagine, if you have a large cluster of nodes, this command may end up returning a ginormous amount of variable data. And now say if you want to filter the output based on a particular category of nodes. You can specify a filter using -a parameter and select a particular category from the facts that you are interested in. Let's look at this example. Ansible all -m setup -a gather _subnet equals network, virtual. So if we look at the filtered facts, you can see we are trying to filter the facts and restrict the additional facts to the given subnet. One thing to remember here is, when we run a playbook, the first thing Ansible does is to collect all these facts from all the hosts. So this fact collection takes some time to execute, especially when we have a large number of hosts configured. And the time to collect these facts could be even longer if the hosts have a lot of details to provide. For instance, each of the nodes in the cluster may have multiple network interfaces, and fact collection process will query each of those interfaces and collect information about them. But in some cases, we may be interested in a very simple Ansible playbook, which does not make use of the facts for any purpose. In such situations, we are just ignoring Ansible facts. So rather than paying the price of collecting all these facts and then throwing them away, we can instruct Ansible not to bother collecting facts in the first place. We can do so by configuring a setting called gather_facts and set its value to false in the playbook. Once this is done, Ansible will not collect the fact while playing that particular playbook. So in this case, when Ansible plays the playbook, it will not bother with fact computation. Setting gather_facts:false on a playbook allows this implicit fact gathering to be skipped. The advantage of doing this is that our playbook will run faster, and the disadvantage is we will not be able to use any of the Ansible fact variables with that particular playbook. Now let's navigate to the terminal and look at how we can get information from Ansible facts provided by the Setup module. Let's first make sure that we are able to ping the hosts to confirm that everything is working fine. For that, we will execute our familiar command, Ansible-m ping all. Okay, cool, everything is working, so now we can proceed. Let's get the facts about our nodes. We will execute Ansible demo_hosts-m setup. Now we can see the output of this command shows all the details which are provided by Ansible's setup module. It first outputs facts about node 01 and then down below for node 02. Let's inspect the facts about one of the nodes closely and see what information is provided by Ansible facts. So here is a collection of all the IPv4 IP addresses assigned to this node. Since we have only one Ethernet interface in our AWS instances, it is showing one IP address. If we had more than one interface, then it would have retrieved the IP addresses for all the interfaces. Next, we have the architecture, which is x86_64-bit architecture. We even have details about the BIOS, like the BIOS date, BIOS version. And here is the system date and time information for the node. And then we have Ansible devices and disk partitions. If you recall, we launched an AWS T2.microhost, which by default has an 8 GB disk partition allocated to it. And that is exactly what is being retrieved as an Ansible fact. Then we have the DNS servers and the search domains. Next, it shows all the environment variables which are associated with this particular Ethernet interface. So when you execute ifconfig on a client host, you will see all these network parameters. And then we have more core system information like stats on CPU usage, memory usage, number of CPUs, size of memory, processor cores, and then some user-related information. So you see, Ansible collects a very comprehensive set of information about the target hosts. We can use all this information in the form of variables in our playbook.